Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with the Stay-at-Home Mom. I'm Erika, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo. Welcome back, everybody. I don't know about you guys, but I missed all of our shows. I mean, last week was so weird not having the shows. And I understand it's probably because they thought people would be too busy over the holidays to watch, but I was just like, oh gosh, I guess I'll watch the, reruns or something. So that's pretty much what I did. But Beverly Hills and Southern Charm did not disappoint again, and I'm just going to dive right into it. So on Beverly Hills, we pick right back up with Denise and Erika fighting.
Unbelievable. I am. Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently Lent is over.
Yeah, Lent was over because they went in on each other. So Denise is just saying to Erika that she just still can't believe that she was talking about threesomes. I mean, first of all, the conversation was like 4 years ago at this point. They showed a recap of Denise and Erika back then having lunch, and Erika saying, oh, I'm so sorry. And Denise is like, you know what? Don't worry about it. So I don't really know why Denise is like bringing it back up, because I feel like her and Erika were fine. It's not like she left the show being so mad at her. Honestly, she left the show being mad at like Teddy and Lisa Rinna about the whole Brandy Glanville thing. And then Erika said that actually at that dinner that Denise talked about Aaron's penis and the size of it. And I love when the producers are just like, you know what, when we go in and edit, we need to show the rollback tapes, because Denise was telling Erika in the previous episode, did you watch the show? Go watch the show. It's like, yeah, well, did you watch the show? Because you were talking about his penis and the size of it, and your kids heard. And at the end of the day, the kids weren't at that exact table. They're in high school. Their mom is Denise Richards and their dad is Charlie Sheen, and they live in Hollywood. I don't think they have fragile minds or ears to all that type of stuff. And they have the internet, like Erika said. So that was pretty interesting. And then Denise was saying that Erika is just deflecting because of all the Tom stuff. And she's not deflecting at all, because the whole last season, I feel like she was having a mental breakdown and they were tearing in on her with the Tom stuff, I feel like. So I don't know why Denise was also saying that. And she wasn't even on last season. And then she had brought up the $20 million that was deposited into her bank account. And she was hitting pretty low with that stuff. But I feel like she was only doing that because the week before we saw her make the comment about her and Sammy on OnlyFans and who makes more money. But I'm sorry, that was good. Because you know what? If you do want to pick at her, because she should have just kind of left it at Kyle's house, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get that. But Erika walked away because she's like, I'm done with this conversation. And then Kyle said that kids should be off limits. And then Garcelle, of course, immediately had to say, well, why didn't you say that when she was here? Well, Garcelle, why didn't you say that when she was there either? It's like, that's the thing I don't like about Garcelle or Crystal. They are really quick to be like, well, why didn't you defend this person doing this? Well, why didn't you? And also, like Kyle started to say, where was anyone defending me about the ring comment with Maurizio at my dinner in front of people? And I agree with her. She was like, I'm sorry, it's either we all defend each other or every man for themselves, and I'm not going to defend people if they don't defend me. I get it. And sometimes you don't want to get involved. I do get it. I feel like if anyone interjected with Denise and Erika, that would have been not good. And then usually you start your own argument with the person, I feel like, if you interject. But yeah, maybe when she said the kid comment, maybe everyone should have been like, whoa, let's not talk about the kids, Garcelle included, because I don't know why she thinks it's Kyle's job to do everything and then she just can sit there and not do anything. So and then Kim is like, I'm going to leave. And we're like, okay, Kim. Okay, Stevie, next Steven Tyler, you're going to leave. She's probably going to go paint on her walls when she gets home. And Crystal was saying that the old Erika really came out. That was in her confessional. And that she can't say stuff like that about the kids and then think it's okay, which I do agree, but also why didn't you come in and butt in? I think Crystal was sitting there. We just didn't see her because then it did show like a flashback of her talking to Garcelle, but that must have been edited out because she's like, why does everyone want me to scream all the time? It's like, no one wants you to scream all the time. We just want you to talk instead of talking in your confessionals. Like, I feel like she is kind of a mute around everyone, and then she's all big and bad in her confessionals, which I have said that before. And then it shows Dorit getting dressed, asking Phoenix what to wear, and I immediately was like, this is me and my 5-year-old. We are actually going out because it is my birthday. I am recording this a day early. We're going out tonight, and my birthday is actually on Saturday. And I know our daughter will be right there with me putting the makeup on herself too. I have little like put aside eyeshadow palette and blush for her because sometimes she like digs the little applicator brush into it. So I was like, here, you can just have this old one and that could be yours, but she loves to get ready with me. And I think that's cute. I think Dorit is a great mom and really cute with her kids. So that just kind of reminded me of my daughter. And then Erika comes over to talk about the fight with Denise because Dorit had left and she's like, I'm going to go home to Bubblish, my PK. I haven't seen him all week. I'm going to go home. And that was probably wise. She stirred enough of the drama and then she's like, my work here is done. I will be getting my paycheck and I will be leaving for what I did. So then Erika was just telling her about the OnlyFans comment, and Erika asks her if her and Garcelle are okay. And then we see it pan to Sutton FaceTiming Garcelle, and they kind of talk about what Dorit was saying with her, how she had used the word attack, and Garcelle said she cried to sleep and cried for like 2 days and was very distraught. Now, I know this is going to be a sensitive topic to talk about. I want to give my opinion though, because this is the whole point of, I feel like, having the podcast. I don't think Dorit meant any ill will saying it, and she just used a word. I know sometimes we are all triggered by different things, or maybe things set us off and people don't know. But I feel like Garcelle saying she cried for like days is like a little dramatic. I feel like she didn't even cry for days when Erika told her son to F off. That would be something I'd be crying and getting ragey about. But just saying the word attack when that's a normal vocabulary word and everyone in the group has said the word attack, I thought it was a little much. And Dorit isn't mean. Like, she may talk too much and stuff and they always make fun of her for that. But she's not a mean person, and she's definitely not racist. So I was a little taken aback how upset Garcelle was. Like, I get she was like irritated with her in the moment on the previous episode, but hearing her tell Sutton she like cried and was like at a loss for what to do was like a little much, I thought, just personally. And then Dorit said to Erika she just feels like she needs a couple days to process how to go from here, because she was taken aback that Garcelle thought she meant such ill intent. And she said she didn't mean anything malicious. But then Sutton said to Garcelle, I like how you called her like privileged and she's unaware. And I think she does live in a bubble. That is real rich coming from a white woman that gets $300,000 a month just for breathing because you were married to somebody. That, if that doesn't scream privilege, I don't know what does. So I didn't like that either. I feel like she was fueling the fire. because I also think, in my opinion, that all of these women are privileged in current day. I know maybe all of them didn't grow up with privilege, but right now in a world where some people can't even buy groceries, these women are on another level of what normalcy is. They're all very privileged and lucky. Erika even said in her confessional, Dorit doesn't mean any ill will. And if you know Dorit like I do, her soul and heart is pure and she doesn't mean anything bad. So I totally agree with that. But then to switch over to something funny that I feel like is like a very main topic of the season, which is kind of weird when I was thinking about it. Sutton meets with the matchmaker again, and I feel like we're just really concerned about her dating life. So it's interesting. Every episode, I feel like that's the topic. Or her small esophagus. But she meets with the matchmaker to go over the feedback from Sal. Now, Sal was the creep that was talking about his mom and how they were like gallivanting on his 50th birthday in Las Vegas because I guess he has no friends and he brought his old mom. I mean, that's weird. And then it showed like a flashback to him talking at the dinner about his mom, and it was like, mom, oh, mom. And it's like, yeah, it sounds like the man just talked about his mom the whole time. So in Italian, that's what we call a mamoni, a mama's boy. So maybe he is just a mamoni and obsessed with his mom. But that's a red flag too for dating, because that means he would compare every woman to his mom, and the mom probably won't like the woman because she'll feel that she's like taking away her baby boy. So I think it's best that Sutton gave up on Sal. And that was like them just kind of going over his whole like feedback, which is kind of a joke because I feel like Sutton was like, well, I don't really care what he said. He's creepy with the mom. So then she finds a new guy for her to go out with that we see a little later in the episode, and I liked him. He was normal, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Because then next, Kim comes over to see Kyle, and I noticed Kyle was drinking an Olipop, which I don't know if any of you have had them before. It's like, they're like prebiotic or probiotic. I'm sorry, not probiotic, like digestive health sodas. I can't do the kombucha personally because I feel like it's very vinegary. And I really don't like soda, but I do like a root beer or like a Diet Dr. Pepper. Like every now and again. I don't buy soda unless we're having like people over or a holiday. But I am addicted to these Olipops. I am not sponsored. But if Olipop would ever like to sponsor me, please do. Because I buy the Olipop root beer, and I kid you not, it tastes just like a real root beer soda. But it's not a soda. It's this like healthy digestive soda-ish thing. So it's not bad for you. It's only like 35 calories. I feel like she had a strawberry flavor, which I tried before. I didn't like that as much, but just randomly my eye is always zooming around on the screen, wondering what they're doing. Like eating, drinking, the makeup always so. My eye caught that Olipop, and I was like, oh, they are good, girl. Good for you. But then Kim comes in, and Kyle is wearing this like hummingbird necklace, and Kim's like, oh, I like that. And she's like, yeah, it just like reminds me of mom because I feel like she's like a hummingbird. So then she said the night that her and Kim fought, that infamous fight in the limo when she called her like an alcoholic, and then Kim's like, you stole my goddamn house. She said when she went home that night, she was obviously so upset, and like a hummingbird was like flapping around on her kitchen floor. And she was like, Mom, is that you? Like, I don't know what to do. I need your help. I need guidance. So now she said that she just feels like hummingbirds are her mom, which I understand that because my husband, so my father-in-law is no longer here, and I didn't get the chance to meet him, sadly. But my husband told me like after he had passed away that they saw a butterfly on the beach when they were in Wildwood. And as anyone knows, like that's not a common thing to see on the beach. We're just seeing seagulls and sand. So they definitely thought it was their dad because they had a house down there. And it was the first summer without him. So he's like, I definitely think that was him. And then probably not the first time, probably the second time we went to Wildwood together, there was a butterfly on the beach with us. And I was like, oh my God, it's definitely your dad. So I believe in stuff like that. So my father-in-law is a butterfly and Kyle's mom is a hummingbird. Totally relate to that. So then Kim and Kyle were just talking about Whitney's wedding, which Whitney is Kim's daughter. She is getting married, and she said, are you coming? Which I thought was really strange because it's like, yeah, she's your sister and you guys talk. Why wouldn't she come? But I think she more meant, are you coming? Because, Kathy's coming, but she didn't say that. But she did say she doesn't want anyone there that is fighting. And then it's like, all right, well, are you like disinviting Kyle? Because I feel the fight is more Kathy's fault. And at this point, Kyle and Kathy have made up like current day. But when the show was filming, they had not. And Kyle was upset, as she was just expressing to Kim, how Kathy acted after they did meet and have their like, I'm sorry. And then it kind of flashed back to showing when she had come over after Aspen and Kyle's like, you were really mean. But then when they got to the reunion, Kathy was like different. And then she got online. That's how all these women get in trouble. They get online and they go blah, 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 and flap their mouths on the comments section or tweet crap. And then they all get re-mad at each other. So she was then kind of playing like the victim. And she's like, well, I don't know why you're upset. And it's like, well, maybe she's upset because you screamed at her in front of all her friends like a child. So I think since Kathy is named after their mom, that she just thinks she is Kyle's mom sometimes. And I'm sure she was like that with Kim. We've never really seen her interact with Kim much on the show because they weren't on at the same time. But I bet she would have been bossing Kim around when Kim was kooky back in the day, when she was struggling with sobriety. But I just don't like how Kathy kind of like embarrasses them and belittles Kyle. Like, I don't think that's nice. And good for Kyle for standing up and saying, I don't like that you do this. And it's okay that she says that to her. Kathy needs to understand and respect that she doesn't like it. And she's like saying to Kim, like, she just gets so mean. And I am starting to think that their mom was like that too. I would love a documentary on like the sisters and the mom, but Kathy would probably send a cease and desist when that happens. So she doesn't want, I guess, anyone to know the truth about their mom, which I feel like nothing really bad happened, but maybe she had some mommy dearest moments, like that movie, but I would be fascinated to watch something like that. But then Kim just starts getting like super emotional. And she's like, Mom never wanted this. She wanted us all to stick together. And that made me so sad, them having that moment. But I think Kim and Kyle have had their moments. But I bet since Kyle is sober and could share that with Kim, that you can tell they've gotten very close. And I like that. And we will see her getting closer with Kathy, but obviously not right now. But you could tell Kyle wants to let her back in, but she's just scared, has her reservations, which I understand. And then it goes to Crystal and Rob having Passover. I actually forgot he was Jewish, but I think it's nice that they both embrace each other's cultures. And she was saying that when they got married, like her culture is very similar to Jewish culture because they like respect family and tradition and keep it alive. And they're doing that with their kids, which I love that. They have a cute little family unit whenever they sit at those dinner tables. The kids seem freakishly well behaved. My dinner table isn't like that. I am constantly telling our almost 3-year-old to sit on her butt on her seat because she like sits up on her seat like her butt is in the wrong spot. And I'm just afraid the chair is going to fall over. And our 5-year-old's usually being like a little crazy lately. She's going through a little phase. So those kids must be threatened before the camera goes up to act that good. But they're also a little older, so maybe that's why. Maybe there's light at the end of the tunnel for me. But Crystal is just telling Rob about the Taco Tuesday disaster and that Garcelle. So then this is when they show the scene that they didn't show. But I wish they kind of did. But I guess we were more paying attention to Denise and Erika arguing. But it was Garcelle being like, you need to speak up. And then she's like, why does this group want me to yell all the time? And it's like, no one wants you to yell. And I don't know why Crystal got so like heated and yelled at Garcelle. But she said she feels really self-conscious around the women. Now, we discovered last year, or maybe it was the year before also, but about Crystal's kind of like body issues. And then she just said, you know, in LA, everyone like focuses on beauty more so than other places. And lately, you know, Kyle got really thin, Erika got really thin, Ozempic is running rampant up there. She just is feeling like a little uncomfortable, and she just like is analyzing that situation instead of what's actually going on to even chime in. Like, her brain is elsewhere, basically, she said. And then we see Sutton go on her date. Now, this date is a lot better and more pleasant to watch. I thought they hit it off. I'd like to know, like, they're probably not dating till this day, because I feel like we would know that. But they probably went on a second date for sure, because they exchanged numbers, and he was normal. They were talking about like karaoke and asking her questions. She took the dating person's, Alessandra, her advice, and she gave a couple compliments, and that was good. Sutton was like more loose and normal. Like, I understand why she wasn't with the other guy, because he's a creep, but she's a tough cookie to crack. Like, I feel like she's just kind of awkward anyway. And then the main part, I feel like, of the episode was the end. Garcelle is meeting Dorit for lunch. Place was like real cute. Kind of looked like it was like on a golf course. I was like, I wonder where they are. I mean, that was just like a really uncomfortable lunch. They were just like looking at the menu, not even like speaking. So that she was like, what are you going to order? Like, I feel like they sat in silence for like 5 minutes. That was strange. Because I feel like even before this happened, like, they're really not close. Like, they're not going to lunch and calling each other. And Garcelle does tend to pick, like, not pick on Dorit. She nitpicks what Dorit says. I'm sorry. Let me say it like that. But Dorit kind of kicks it off, and she just says that she'd like to hear like what Garcelle feels, and she'd like to listen. So Garcelle then just goes in and says, you know, you can't say 3 words to a black woman. You can't say attack, aggressive, and angry. And that you need to be aware of that, but it's not my job to educate you. Well, it kind of seems like you are educating her right now, because that's what you're telling her. And then this is when Dorit says, I didn't know that saying attack would like get you this upset. And obviously if I did, I wouldn't say it. And she said, you know, a lot of people have said that word in the group. And then it shows like a compilation of everyone saying like, you know, when you attacked me about this. And I feel like across the board on all the Housewife franchises, they do say like, you attacked me. And obviously they don't mean physically. They mean like, you attacked me with your words, like you really bombarded me, like you made me feel uncomfortable, you came at me hard with like the words. So Garcelle is cutting her off though, and then is like, to me? Have they said it to me? Have they said it to me? And it's like, this is the part that I don't like. Garcelle wants to fit in with everyone, and Garcelle wants everyone, you know, to be accepting, and they are. I mean, no one is racist in this group. And she wants special treatment though. Like, so Dorit could say attack to Erika, but she can't say it to Garcelle. And like I said before, this is a sensitive topic. I'm sorry if I am upsetting anyone, because I feel like Dorit, I never want to upset people, but in this day and age, people are getting, it's like a little too much with the sensitivity. Like I said, Erika literally told Garcelle's son to F off, and she wasn't this upset, I feel like. And then she's telling Dorit, like, she, like, cried and all this. And then she said, but Garcelle, do you really think I said this with, like, ill intention? And Garcelle's like, yes, I do. And I could tell Dorit is just like, oh my God, I can't believe she thinks that. And then she's like, Garcelle said, whether you understand or not, I really feel like you give off a Karen mentality. Now, I'm sorry, you just said you don't want people to say things to you or be aware how to talk to you. Or you're saying you think Dorit had racial undertone in saying the word attack. You just called her a Karen. That's very stereotypical. Calling a white woman a Karen is just saying, like, being stereotypical of white women. So that was a little taken aback, because it's like, well, if you're going to say you don't like when people are offensive to you, you can't be offensive right back, because then you're being hypocritical. And she said, Garcelle, you know I'm Jewish, right? And then Garcelle was like, what does that mean? And then I know this was filmed a while ago, but obviously what's happening now with Jewish people is like a very sensitive topic. So I just thought it was kind of rude that she's like, what does that mean? Or like, she's kind of bringing up that she is part of a group that has gone through a difficult time. I mean, the Holocaust was, Jewish people were being murdered and slaughtered just for being Jewish. So I understand that that's kind of why she said it. I feel like Dorit always tries to relate to people, to get on their level, to be kind, but Garcelle is just taking it as rude and like in denial and privileged, as she said. But I understood what Dorit meant by that. And then she's like, you're just like talking, like you're just like privileged. And then Dorit's like, well, I think we all come from privileged lives right now. We all are privileged, which again, I agree. Like, I feel like Garcelle's trying to say, oh, well, like I'm poor and you're privileged and you don't understand me. It's like, you're an actress and you're both on the same show and you both have money. Totally get, like, neither of them came from money also. Dorit didn't either. So, I mean, she didn't grow up like a hobo, but I just feel like she can't say anything right now to Garcelle. And Garcelle in her confessional is like, this is why she gets under my skin. She wants to listen and hear me out, but then she says this. And it's like, well, she is listening and hearing you out, but she's allowed to talk to you. It's almost like Garcelle wants to just talk to her, and she just wants Dorit to have her opinion. And it's like, well, no, we all have our own opinions. And you're now hurting her feelings. Like, can't she feel hurt? The one thing I will agree with Garcelle, she said, like, I feel like 2 years ago, you just are like you don't realize what you're saying and it's offensive. And then they show the scene of Dorit saying like, oh, we have like Mexican and black people like helping our house. And like Garcelle was like, oh, do you only have people of color helping? And she was like, oh no, and my mom's best friend is black. So like, totally, Garcelle, I agree with you. Those were insensitive comments and totally like goofy comments. Like, I don't even know why Dorit would say that. I mean, that's so rude to say that. So I agree. That has racial undertone. Totally. But her just saying like, you attacked me, I don't feel it has racial undertone. But see, that's what I mean. I feel like Garcelle is holding a Teresa Giudice grudge. She's just maybe still mad that Dorit said that. So now anytime Dorit talks, she's just reading into it, and she's like, well, since you said that 2 years ago, which was pretty racist, you just, anything you say to me is like racial undertone. So Dorit is like, I'm really, sorry that I said this, but then in her confessional, she's like, you calling me a Karen is very rude, and I agree. So Garcelle said she wants to move forward, but they won't. I mean, they're not friends. And you know what? It's okay. Like, sometimes on Beverly Hills, I feel like they don't understand that they all don't have to be, like, best friends making friendship bracelets. Like, look at Teresa and Melissa. We're going to see next season. They don't even freaking talk, and they're family, and they're filming some scenes together. So you guys don't have to be best friends. It's great that they both, I think, gave their opinion along with Dorit, and they're going to move on, hopefully. Next week, we see the little Morgan Wade, like, intimate concert. So excited for that. I was very excited. That's why I like the previews, because I like to get all amped up for the following week. That's why the to be continued can be juicy, but I do like the previews. So, going to dive right into Southern Charm. It was the season finale. I thought it delivered. I think the whole season delivered. Whitney was calling everyone, saying he's going to have a party, because we always got to have a party on the last episode at the cottage. And it is fancy, like fancy pants in there. I am excited to see it more. Like, I hope they like have like some more fun parties in there. Very fancy, like nicer than like restaurants. Literally looks like a swanky bar, like manly, a little dark, but love it. I would totally go hang out in there. I would be Whitney's friend just to go hang out in there. Or I would love to like rent the space like Whitney. That's a business idea. Like rent it out to people like that, because it's really nice. But Olivia meets Leva for lunch, and I immediately noticed she had that Gucci like sweatsuit jacket on, and I was like, oh my God, that's really cute. And then Leva was like, oh, are you rocking that for Connor? And we find out that it was her late brother's jacket. So I think that's so cute. I love that. I'm sure she missed him a lot around the holidays. The first holiday without someone is really rough. So sending extra love and thoughts to her and her family. But Leva gets talking about Jamaica and just says to Olivia, like, I don't think it's like really good for you to be around Austen, and like you can't be friends, obviously. And Olivia's saying they either are getting along or they're fighting, and she kind of thinks they shouldn't be friends either. She was like mainly leaning on him though because of the stuff she was going through, I think, with the brother. And also that's why I feel like she was like happy with him one minute and then fighting with him next minute, because she was just like going through a lot of emotions with everything that was happening. But then Rod meets JT at JT's event space. JT answers in like a towel and like a leather vest. I was like, like if these two weren't on the show next season, I would be fine with it. I feel like they try to have their moments alone to be funny because they want to save themselves. I predict Rod won't be on the show because he's really boring. And if you're not dating Olivia, like, no. And he's really like not friends with anyone, I feel like, except JT. JT will stay on the show though because he causes drama and what he did at the end of the episode. He will definitely be staying. But I could see Rod maybe just popping in as a friend of. Which maybe he like was a friend of kind of for the season anyway, but I don't know. I think we're just going to see way less of him next year or just not at all. But they are trying some funky clothes on because Whitney's theme for the party is like a 60s mod theme, which I like. I think that's fun to have a little theme too. And Whitney, I feel like, is like 60s, 70s vibe. I mean, because we found out his age the other night. He's 54, so yeah, that's his era. I was like pretty blown away that he was that old. I was like, oh my God, because yeah, time is ticking for you to find like a mate. But then they have like a little therapy session. JT lays on the couch and he's talking to Rod about Taylor. I mean, I feel so bad for this guy. He is so desperate with Taylor, and it's so weird too because it's like you're like obsessed with the girl that has like wronged her best friend, pretty much like mean to like everyone, I feel like, is using Austen as a pawn to make Shep jealous. It's just like, you want to date her? It's like, okay. Like, I think she's showing her true dark side right now for you, but you still love it. That's good for you, I guess. But JT is just saying he'll ignore Austen at the party, which we all know that ain't happening, and we all know that it's really hard to ignore in these situations. And you get the tap on the shoulder probably from the producers, and it's like, no, look, you gotta talk, like you gotta do this. I mean, they're getting paid. If this was normal life, like if I was going to a party and I didn't want to see someone, yeah, I would not talk to them. But if I'm getting paid and being told by my boss I need to go talk to somebody, then you do that. So it shows Madison and her husband just kind of getting ready in her little glam room. I mean, that is a fabulous room. And then we got to see the closet kind of, and I'm like, oh my God, everyone needs that. It's like a wing of their house. It's like an upstairs loft turned closet glam room with a bathroom too. Love that. But they're just talking about her getting pregnant again. Obviously, we know she is not pregnant right now. I hope she's not having troubles getting pregnant. So hopefully she'll be pregnant soon if they are still actively trying. And then we see Miss Pat is still recovering from her back surgery, and her caregiver, because Whitney was probably fired from being the caregiver, he is like bringing her stuff, and then she's like, yeah, I have him like put on makeup and stuff for me, and I'm like, oh my God, you're so funny. Like, leave it to her, someone, a Miss Southern Belle, I feel like, to like still look fabulous, like she's going out and when she's recovering with the back. She said she still wears lingerie. I'm like, all right, girl, get up. Sorry, my nose is like a little stuffy. I feel like it's from like the heat in the house. I hate it. Whitney is telling her about the party that he is throwing in the cottage. And he said the theme is the 60s mod, but he said he's kind of taking it mainly from this movie called Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. And I bet not one single human being in this group has seen that movie, let alone even heard that movie. I'm surprised some of them really even knew what the 60s looked like, because I know Paige and like Vanita because they're all fashionable, but I bet some of them for sure had to Google how to dress. But Miss Pat is just telling Whitney that she really wants him to settle down. She's like, are you bringing ladies to this cottage? And he's like, maybe. And he's an only child, and I am too, fun fact. And she's like, I just want you to have like my grandkids. So like, I know you're taking care of it and have like a wife and everything. And once I found out how old he was, I was like, oh my God, that's why she's concerned. Yeah, I feel like he would be like a permanent bachelor. I could see that for him, because it seems like at 54, that's the route he's taken. Like, more like pretty much half your life is over. So but who knows if he will find someone. Or I could see him finding someone that like has kids. Could see that, like older kids, because can't really see Whitney raising like a baby either. Then it shows everyone getting dressed for the party. Always like that when it's a theme. Paige and Craig are in their car, and she's like, when was Whitney born? So this is when we find out how old he is. And Craig is like, hey, Siri, how old is someone that was born in 1969? And then we knew 54. And then Paige is like, isn't that when we went to the moon? And she was like, which I have theories about that. So Craig's conspiracy theories are rubbing off on Paige. She's like, if we can send a man to the moon and live stream it to everyone's TV to view, but like current day, I can't even get Wi-Fi in Charleston. She's like, I just don't believe it. So that was pretty funny. But then we see the unveiling of the beautiful cottage. I feel bad because it's like raining and half the party is supposed to be outside too. And it was giving me flashbacks of when they had the doggy wedding and they were sitting outside like in the rain and it was all poopy. So at least they have the beautiful cottage and her beautiful house to hide in. It was like light rain though, nothing intense. Taylor was getting ready, and she said that Shep had texted her and said that they would talk at the party. I hope this poor girl didn't think his vague text about talking at the party was like getting back together, because I feel like she kind of did. It was more to say we need to set boundaries, because in the previous episode, she was like getting mad. He was like hanging out with girls at his house, which, yeah, I mean, you're not his girlfriend. You can't get mad. So, Austen says to his sister when they're getting ready that he hopes and thinks Olivia will apologize to him at the party. The sister is like laughing, and I was laughing, and I was like, yeah, fat chance. Like, no one is apologizing to you pretty much ever, probably, for anything. Unless they, like, slammed a door on you. Maybe they would say sorry. But, like, even then, it's questionable. Olivia said she just kind of feels better seeing Taylor at the party, knowing there's no friendship to try to fight for. So she's emotionally checked out. She can't apologize anymore, say anything to her. They're not friends. So I feel bad. It's sad, but best for Olivia to just move on. Brett and Madison bring up Miss Pat some champagne, and then he leaves the ladies to talk to each other. And Miss Pat said, Madison, where's your boobs? I've never seen them so contained. And Madison's like, I know, right? But that was funny. They have a cute little relationship, and she was just telling Miss Pat that she wants to have another baby, and she was saying that she was there, like, helping her when the first baby was born. Hudson, he's like about 9, I think she said now. She had fractured her pelvic bone and was like bed rest for 3 months. So I understand why Madison would be scared to have another baby, because you don't know, it could happen again. But that was sad. I could also see Madison going down like the surrogate route, you know, just because she's like worried about that. And she did spend money on that mommy makeover, and she's looking like real, like, good. Like, she always looked good, but she's looking extra good these days. So I'm like, oh my God, you're gonna have the baby? Like, but maybe she's looking extra good to have the baby. I don't know. Like, preparing her body for when afterwards it just goes right back to that. And then Miss Pat was just telling Madison that she really wants Whitney to have that, like, settle down, find a mate, have a baby. And then she's like, well, if I have twins, I'll just give you one. I could see that, like, sell it on the black market to Miss Pat. That's so funny. But then we see just awful, awkward conversation between JT and Taylor. And he's, like, shooting his shot with her, and Rod is like such a jerk friend. Like, he got shot down by Olivia and they actually made out. He should tell JT, no, don't talk to Taylor, because she's probably going to reject you, because I feel like she would have said by now, let's date, because she's thrown herself at everybody else. So if she would have liked JT that much, she would have thrown herself or sent him a little booby picture like she did Whitney by now. I mean, it's sad. They need to have each other's back. He needs to, even if it's not what your friend wants to hear, being a good friend, you got to tell your friend. Like, I would do that. I'd be like, no, they don't like you. I mean, I feel like my friends did that too to me. Like, you know, when you're in college and everyone just, you know, is like talking about these guys they like, and then they're like, oh no, I don't think he likes you. Or like, no, I don't think she likes you. I mean, he should have stopped him in the therapy session. A real therapist would have, maybe. But just saying like, oh, we spent so much time together in Jamaica, and we like sat with each other at every plane ride. It's like, yeah, dude, because like everyone hates her right now. Like, no one wants to sit with her. So pretty sure that's why, like, no one was fighting for that seat to sit next to her. And he's like, I love you. I would marry you tomorrow. And I was like, oh my God, stop. We need that like cane to yank you away, like in the old films. Like, that was kind of embarrassing because he's just putting it all out on the line. But on the other hand, it's like, you know what, if that's how you feel, good for you, because there could be, you know, that little percent chance, like on Dumb and Dumber when he's like, so you're saying we have a shot, when she says it's like a 1 in a million chance. And he said, I have a shot. It's like, no, you don't. That's JT with Taylor. So I was sad. She's like, did say in her confessional though, she's like, you know, in a perfect world, I would wake up and JT would be my person. And, you know, good for her. She's not faking it and leading him on. But she's like, you know, it's not there, which I get. You can't force it. If it's not there, it's not there. But that's just like, you know, he's just so nice. I like assholes. It's like, okay. And then Shep comes over and is like talking to them. And he's like, hi, what are you guys talking about? And I feel like poor JT, between feeling like inferior to like Shep and Austen, poor little guy. Like, he's just like, screw all these guys. They're all mean. They're all mean to my queen Taylor. And she's just rejected me when I said, I'm going to like marry you tomorrow. I wonder if he has the old ring from like his first marriage. He could just kind of give it to Taylor, but that was too far. He should not have said, I would marry you tomorrow and I love you. It's like, you're not even dating. You can't say I love you. Like, you're crazy. And that's what I mean. Like, crazy people like Taylor, like jerks, I guess, that treat her like crap. But and some girls do, but you have to have the happy medium. You can't be like how JT was, like, I'm marrying you tomorrow, or the, like, total jerk. You got to be in the middle. So Austen pulls Olivia to the side. They chit-chat. And then Shep pulls Taylor to the side and they chit-chat. Austen and Olivia were basically just talking about when he said when we're private, everything's fine. And then when we're in front of people, I feel like you, like, spaz out on me. And Olivia's like, I feel like you're just not a good friend. And then it shows Taylor and Shep talking. And Shep's like, you know, I just want to know where your head at. And then she was like, he's like, I feel like you want to get back together. And she's like, yeah, possibly. And he's like, wait, what? Like, that was pretty crazy. I'm like, wait, like, I don't know where her brain is. One day she wants to be with Austen. One day she wants to be with Shep. One day she's sending her boobs to Whitney, all over the place. Then pans back to Austen saying to Olivia, he was hoping she was going to apologize. And then she said in her confessional, if you need to pull your narcissistic head out of your ass. If you think the thing on my brain at the moment is apologizing to you, you're crazy. Which I agree, because we're still, like, grieving over the brother. And he's such a jerk off, he hooked up with her friend. So it's like, and they, like, kind of lied about it. So, like, he kind of didn't, because he did say it. Taylor did point blank lie to her face. Then it pans back to Taylor and Shep's sad conversation. She's just saying she's a hopeless romantic and I care about us. And Shep's like, but there is no us. And he said, I just want to know if we could support each other dating other people. And she said, well, what if I want to date Austen? She is just like a little kid in a candy shop. In 1 minute ago, she's saying she wants to get back together with Shep. And now she's like, well, now I want to date Austen. Am I making you jealous enough to get back together with me and then I'll dump Austen? It's like, her brain is like a game of ping pong. I mean, between liking Austen and Shep, it's just like crazy. And she doesn't like Austen. I mean, she really doesn't. She's just trying to get Shep jealous and thinking that that'll win him back. And it's sick and it's weird. And he's just like, you know, I would shake my head and say, wowza. And I was like, okay, that's like so weird. And then he's like, but I wouldn't be bothered if you guys were really in love. And he knows they're not. So that's why he's saying that. But good for him for saying that. Rod comes over to sad JT, bringing him some whiskey to drown their man sorrows. Because, you know, Rod still probably cries about Olivia at night. And JT's like, you know, she just was like, I'm not into you. You know, I told her I love her. And I think even Rod was like, oh my God, you threw yourself at her that desperately. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, that was sad. But it leaves off with Shep and Taylor, him saying that if I need to not talk to you as much, I won't. And she's like, yeah, I think that's best. She went in the bathroom and I heard her crying with the microphone. So you do feel a little bad because she does still really love Shep. That's why I get mad. She's doing all this stuff with like Whitney and Austen, just using them as pawns. So she's using them as pawns, which is mean because she's friends with them. But then she's like hurting her best friend because she's hooking up with Austen. And she's still not getting Shep back at the end of the day. So just don't even do all that. And then you'll still have friends and you'll have your best friend. So, and reputation too, by the way. But then it goes to a black screen and says 30 minutes later. Love it. Love the drama. They're setting us up for the drama, just like the to be continued with the black screens. It's dark out now. You can tell everyone's getting drunk. Love that also. Austen blows Taylor a kiss. So we're all cooped up in the cottage. We're having our cocktails in there. You can tell everyone's behind the bar dishing out some shots. What the hell? He is blowing a kiss to Taylor. Like, you guys have been in hot water all season for your crap. He's trying to, like, get an apology out of Olivia, which is just mind-blowing. And now he's blowing a air kiss to Taylor. This man needs help. He's sick. He needs help. I mean, the therapy, go get a refund because it's not helping. Might as well not waste that woman's time. And then JT is like kneel standing. So he's kneeling but standing on one of the bar stools. And in his confessional, he's like, I just can't believe that Austen made out with Taylor. Like, he's like thinking like that nasty tongue was in my precious Queen Taylor's mouth, and I just can't help but get mad about it. So then Austen says to JT, so he threw the first insult. He said, finally, you're eye level with me. Because you're like he's standing on the chair. And he's like, I told you the next time you talk to me to be eye level with me. Oh my God, Austen, do you want to get hit? Like, Lala, do you want to get popped? I mean, so JT is just, he's ready. He's a little liquored up. He's eye level with Austen. He's mad that Taylor rejected him. And he said, you're a real coward and a snake. So I'm just going to read the insults he said. He said, you're a real coward and a snake. Shep said you're an arm's length friend that can't be trusted around everyone's women. And you're a piece of shit, and you have a piece of shit reputation in this town. And how do you feel about that? So then Austen is like, oh my God, like, what is wrong with you, JT? What's your problem? But first of all, it's like you kind of poked at him first saying he's like short. I mean, because calling a man short is rude. And Austen means it rudely. So then in his confessional, this is when I was like really mad. Austen was like, oh, I know why JT is upset. Because he's jealous of me. He's jealous because he is so obsessed with Taylor and I got the girl and he didn't. Oh my God. You guys were supposed to just kiss like a stupid 5-second kiss one time. You got the girl? Like, you're talking about like you won her like she's yours, like permanently. So he's like, guys like me get the girl and guys like JT don't. Oh my God, I hate you. I would never, ever, ever, ever even kiss Austen in my single days. He is just that typical F-boy, douche, frat, annoying guy. So annoying. Hate those type. I was so mad. So then JT was like, you're a child in the sandbox stealing everyone's shiny stuff. And then Austen did shove JT on, and he was on a stool, so he was like falling. So then JT was like, do it again. And then he literally gets off the stool and headbutts Austen. And I was like, oh shit, it's going down. In the cottage, don't break anything in the cottage. Whitney just spent all this money. I'm sure everything is so expensive. There's probably a $45,000 couch in there. We don't want Craig. Where's Craig with his red wine? Make sure he's not spilling it on the couch. So then they're fighting, breaking the fourth wall. Always love that. We see the cameras and the boom mics. And Austen is like, in 10 years, we've never had hands on each other until you came in the scene. And he's basically saying none of them have ever gotten physical with each other until JT shows up. And then Shep said that Austen kind of deserved it. In his confessional, though, of course. Because right now we're separating Austen. He is outside with the friends. And then Rod is like, come on, JT, let's go. And I saw JT was like screwing the cap back on to like that bourbon, because he probably like had some bourbon after. He's like, shut up, Rod. I'm like, got my heart broken. I basically proposed a marriage tonight and headbutting Austen. I'm just like fragile right now. Let me have some alcohol. Yeah, so just left out on that. And you could tell, like, yeah, Shep was just still like, he deserved it. I mean, he was not a good friend to me, and I'm now like kind of realizing that. And then it showed the preview for the reunion. Oh, we need this reunion because we need closure on this like love. It's not even a triangle. It's like a square, because I feel like it involves Shep, Austen, Taylor, and Olivia. So we need them to duke it out. It's going to be good though. We already saw the reunion looks. Ironically, Olivia and Taylor are wearing red. I think Olivia looked better, not just because I don't like Taylor. I think Taylor's glam looked good. I just didn't really like her dress as much. It had like a weird flower on it, but my queen Olivia always looks good. Everyone looked good. The men look very dapper, very southern and dressed up, but I'm going to tell you what, I watched that fight 3 times last night. Made my husband watch it with me too. He was like, oh my God, look at that. Look at them going at it. So it was good. Once again, this was so fun recapping. We'll only have Beverly Hills to recap. I need to start watching some new shows, but we're going to have Vanderpump coming back soon at the end of the month. So we will start that recap too. Have some guests of my friends to come on and talk with me about it because we love our VPR. But as always, you can find me at Bravo T with a stay-at-home mom on Instagram. I'm on Spotify and Apple. And until next time, see ya. I will be 33 on my next podcast. Happy birthday to me. Bye.